the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get
Welcome to Cooper Talk. I'm your host, Steve Cooper, and remember, I'm only as hip as my guests. I have to tell you something, people. Last week, when I was on air, I got a call from a casting company, and I got cast in a quick sketch on the Ellen Show. Now, you know, it was about 10 months ago, I said, you know what, I've never pursued the acting. I have an agent and all that stuff, but I've never pursued it. I said, you know what, Joanne does background. I said, you know what, if I'm off, they do a little union background. It's good money. So I finally got my third SAG voucher, but what's funny is, here's what I've got my vouchers for. I got my first voucher playing someone's hand on NCIS. They sat there and it was a hand insert. They called me. My second voucher was for the Ellen Show another time, where they needed people who looked like Huey Lewis in the News, his band. So I played one of the News. And this week, I can't say who it is because it hasn't been aired yet, but I play somebody's forehead, well, their top of their head, which is funny because I'm thinking they must be looking through like their database. They must call these companies and say, we need a head that looks like such and such, and I got called. So I went down, and so like this week sometimes my head will be in a sketch, which is pretty cool. So anyway, we have a great show. My guest is looking at me like, oh, your head? My guest is Bodie Huffman. How you doing, Bodie?
Hey, man, how are you? Hey, can I call you Cooper? Because
Yeah,
it just seems like a cooler way of going about it.
Everyone calls me Cooper or Coop. I mean, I honestly, I had people in college who would sit there. My one roommate's girlfriend,
Yeah.
he called me Steve one time.
Yeah.
And she's like, what'd you call him Steve? And he goes, everyone calls me Cooper. So call me Cooper.
Well, it's like, for me, Cooper is like I grew up in the 70s, like, and the kids had names like Cooper and TJ and Hunter, and so like Cooper seems like the name that I would have had as a friend. Like, I feel like I'm dealing with the kids that I grew up with.
See, that's good. But now,
Cooper.
what's funny thing now is Cooper has become a very popular name with dogs. I'm not lying. I saw it on like some TV show.
Cooper.
I saw it on a commercial.
Cooper,
I'm like,
sit, Cooper.
exactly. So see, I'm sitting. So okay. So now we got to talk. So now you're an actor.
Yeah.
You've been performing for a long time.
Yeah.
When did I know your father was an actor and a filmmaker? But when did you know you wanted to act, or was it always around you? I mean, how did you start this path?
Well, so my father he's actually not an actor. He's a director. But he started the band, he's a performer, and he started the band Oingo Boingo in the 60s. So it was a theater troupe, right? So he performed around Europe, and it was a pretty successful theater troupe, and they were pretty far out, and there was like maybe 15 to 20 members. I mean, it was a big whole thing. And his little brother, Danny, was part of the band. And then in the early 80s, or the late 70s, my father decided to get into directing, like getting into movies. So he got into films, and he turned the band Oingo Boingo over to Danny. And Danny took over the band and kind of turned it into an alternative or kind of new wave vibe. And that went off and did what it did. And then Danny eventually stopped and got into composing music. But my dad was sort of already in the business and making interesting films and doing far out stuff. But I wasn't raised by my father. I have a very unusual upbringing in that my mom is gay, and my mom and my dad were never together.
Okay.
It was like a one night stand. So I was raised by my mom and her girlfriend, but my dad was always sort of off in the distance, you know, the once or twice a year type of dad. But I knew him a little bit, and he got into filmmaking and started to make films, and so I kind of observed it, and I kind of dug it. But I think there was something in me that always had that beating in me, the idea of making films or acting or making art. My mom is an artist, but it wasn't in this medium. It was more sculpting and things like that. So I just sort of got into it, watching it, and then even though I'm a Hollywood kid, it was the streets of Hollywood, meaning there was no actors in the neighborhood, or it was all like it was a bad neighborhood. It wasn't an artistic neighborhood. But I don't know. I guess at around my teens, I kind of got into it a little bit, and then I just started taking classes, and I studied for a bit, and then I just found a friend that had a manager and an agent, and signed with them, and then within a day I was auditioning and acting and working and booking films and booking TVs and commercial. I just started kind of immediately. I just got right into it.
So you're okay. So you always hear a different story. Some people did a lot of theater, did that, but a lot of people sometimes, because it seems like you said the neighborhood you grew up with was a Hollywood neighborhood, so you had some street smarts. I mean, you probably had
100% was a street. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's ghettos, so I don't want to try to put myself like I was in like a serious scene.
Right.
There wasn't killings, but it was a bad neighborhood. It wasn't a good neighborhood. Hollywood, now is just hipsters and coffee shops and beards and people with small dogs. But in the 70s, it was actually all African American or Latino gangs. I mean, that's all Hollywood was. And so I kind of rolled with that scene and just learned how to get along with. I was the smallest, skinniest, whitest person in the entire neighborhood. So I learned how to get along with people.
So now, how when you talked about being a '70s kid,
yeah,
how did your uncle's music influence you? Did that get you to a whole brand new thing of music, or were you into music? Because you seem like a hip guy. You seem someone who likes music and likes acting.
Yeah.
But I mean, were you into music when you were a younger kid?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, because when I would hang out with my pop, he would sort of turn me on to cool stuff, and I mean, the music that he was into had far out influences and very eclectic influences in old Cab Calloway and gosh, even Brazilian. Like my father was so involved in far out music that vibe coming to me influenced me, and I kind of got into that stuff. So yeah, and then Oingo Boingo hit in the early 80s, and that was its whole. So I went into that route of all that kind of alternative music that was hitting from X and Devo and like those kind of far out fun LA bands.
See, that's just funny, yeah, because I got into them later just because my roommate in college was from Hong Kong, so he brought over and I went to college in '82. I graduated in '86, so he brought over bands like Ultravox and different bands we had never heard of. And I was like, wow, because I mean we were New Jersey kids, so we were Springsteen and Southside Johnny, and all that stuff, and it was amazing. And not till years later did I get into X and even Oingo Boingo. I mean, I started listening to Oingo Boingo in college because we had a surfer guy who had some cool stuff, so it was cool.
I just went through an Ultravox stage.
Okay.
Meaning I just went back into my old records and was like, God, Ultravox, I haven't heard them in a while, and I broke it out now, and I was like, gee, what a great band.
I know. I saw Mitch Ure at a concert, an '80s concert, 2 years ago. It was with Howard Jones, the Thompson Twins, and Katrina, not the Waves, just Katrina.
Just Katrina.
And it was great. So now you get there, you get a manager now you all start auditioning right away. I mean,
I got a manager. She had a son who was a famous kid actor named Barrett Oliver. Do you remember Barrett Oliver? No. Neverending Story, Cocoon. He was this. All right, so this was his mom, Barrett's mom, and she was like a mom manager. But she saw me hang out with Barrett a couple times, and she knew I was. I think she approached me, and I said, "Yeah, I'm doing acting class." Okay, anyway, so this stuff is boring to me, but if you want to know about it, I'll tell you.
No, I want to because it interests me. I don't want to bore you.
It's okay. So she said, okay, so here's what we got to do. We got to get you an agent. So she knew agents because she had been in that scene. And she got me a meeting with the Harry Gold Agency, which was at the time they were like the big kid agency. And I was a teenager, but just started near the end of my teens. And I went in there and I met with them. And that day I was auditioning. I walked out and I went to an audition that day. That was it. Done.
At that point, did you sit there and say, okay, this is going to be my life? Because you've worked for years. You've had a lot of credits. So, I mean, we're all, I always say when we're that age, we think, but I guess if you're acting at that age, it must be such a cool high.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I had another job. I worked at a really cool motorcycle school that would travel around the U.S. teaching people how to do high performance riding. My best friend's father owned that, and it's still around. It's a pretty spectacular company. It's called the California Superbike School, and they really they rent tracks out across the U.S. and they teach people how to do high performance riding. So I worked there as a really young guy, like 16 years old. I had a good job, but I got into acting and I started to book and work, and that became a problem to keep the job because you have to travel and be available. And I was starting to work right away, and I had to quit the job. And I was kind of bummed because then it meant a lot of free time in between your jobs. You know, when you as an actor, you have a lot of free time in between in between your auditions or your jobs. And I liked the job I did have. That was my full-time job. So I guess I sort of put my hustle on and was like, all right, I better figure out how to do this.
So yeah, I mean, especially when you're young, it must be crazy when you have the free time because when you're in college, you have free time, but you're studying and stuff like that. So what would you do with your free time?
Okay, so you bring up a really far out point. So my wife and I were talking to someone that helps us out with our kids, and she's 18 years old and she's getting started as an actress, and she was wanting advice about what does she do to start. And me and Jenna kind of were like, oh, okay, so what kind of advice could we give you? And one of the things we realized is that how she spends her time, right? This is your average person in Los Angeles right now. You're young adult in Los Angeles. There's a lot of going out on hikes. There's a lot of going out to eat. There's a lot of sitting in coffee shops. There's a lot of going out at night to restaurants or clubs. And Jenna and I kind of looked at each other and we went, holy, can I say shit?
Whatever you want.
Can I say
you
shit?
Can say whatever you want.
All right.
You already said shit. You can
All
say
right,
whatever you want. It's fine.
Jenna and I turned to each other and we're like, holy shit, because we just realized what we did our first 15 years together, my wife and I. We've been together 26 years, and we met when we were both teenagers. And what we did, Steve, is we were actually in acting class all week long, and all we did was study and study in class or prepare scenes or do research on the characters. We spent the first, and I'm saying from the time we were teenagers to in our early 30s, we just studied. And I'm positive it's why we actually kept out of trouble, why we stayed together, why we never had any big fallouts or big scandals. It's actually because all we did was study and do art. That was it.
See, yeah, it's funny. I mean, that is true though, because you think about how do people get in trouble? You watch TMZ. It's someone going to a club.
It's always fucking
yelling.
4 a.m.
Yeah, and they're always going, hey.
Nothing good happens past 4 a.m.
No. You met Jenna in your acting class?
No, I met her at an audition, a Sprite audition, and she was living at home with her mom and her dad in Northridge. I was living in Hollywood and just doing my acting thing, and that was that. Yeah.
And so was it attraction right away? Because you always wonder how couples, and you said, and for a Hollywood couple to
26 years.
That's like 50. That's 50
dog
years in real life. That's
exactly.
Let's be honest, because you never hear that. You hear the old school couples, back in the day. But so then, was there an instant attraction when you guys met, or was it just something that took a while? Because you said you seemed to study a lot. You had a lot in common.
Yeah, I brought her into the acting class with me, so she started to study because she was a dancer, so she wasn't really doing a lot of acting. She was dancing, and then she was doing a ton of commercials. But when I saw her, I don't really know. I can't really answer that question because it's beyond the ken of my understanding. It was just something clicked where I was like that's that one right there. I approached her and I talked to her at the audition and I asked her if I could have her headshot. And I took the headshot home and I showed my roommate. I said, "This is the girl I'm going to marry." And he's like, "Who is she?" And I was like, "I don't know. This is the girl I'm going to marry." And then I got a call the next day that I got the job, and I went to the wardrobe fitting. And as I pulled in the wardrobe fitting, she pulled in as well. She'd gotten the job too. And it was a done deal.
It's a sign. It's signs.
It was a done deal.
So you were doing commercials.
Yeah.
And then when did you start? You started going across to TV. Would you start doing a lot of TV, or what was?
No, mine was instantaneously. The auditions were commercial and film and TV instantaneously. She was just doing commercials and dance, and I helped her get a theatrical agent, and then she took off immediately. Immediately when she got a theatrical agent, it was a done deal. She started to book immediately.
Now, did you like to sit there? Did you like doing commercials and TV and movies? What was your one you liked? Everyone says, we love acting. It's all great. But for you, because commercials are a lot different than TV.
Yeah.
A lot different. It's such a different medium. I mean, what did you get the most enjoyment out of?
Films, but I loved the checks that came with getting those commercials, right? Like you're 20 years old and you're living paycheck to paycheck in your apartment and those residuals would come in.
Right.
For whatever, the brand was that you were schlepping around, and that was great. But films, I love doing films. I got to do fun films.
Now, how many commercials do you think you've done?
Maybe 50 to 75 or something
So
like that.
you've done, a ton of commercials.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, probably 50 to 75.
Do you ever look
I've
back?
probably done 100 films and maybe 100 or so TV shows as well or something.
Now, do you think
Maybe.
you said because you studied a lot after that? Do you think your studying helped you? Because a lot of people sit there and you always hear, oh, that person got, their overnight success, but then people don't know that they've been studying and doing this for years.
I'm still doing it. I'm still working on the game. I'm still out there hustling and working and taking, doing meetings and auditioning and putting together my own projects. It's still like a continual create. It's like a building that's not even, there's still scaffolding on it.
What are some of your projects like when you say, okay, what's like a Bodie Elfman project he'll put together? Like when you sit there and you
Oh my God, they're so.
What I want to hear them because I'm guaranteeing they're fun and I'm guaranteeing they're a little avant-garde, a little bit different. I think because you seem like a guy who likes a little bit of different.
Yes, but I bet I bet if I told you, you'd be a little surprised about the things that I'm creating.
I want to hear some of the things you're creating.
There is a TV show that me and a partner and mine. I'm sorry, I'm not being articulate about this because it's one of those things where you're kind of like, all right, how do you describe it? It's a show about the foundations of Los Angeles. Los Angeles was really sort of built on oil, and in fact, this entire city was the largest producer of oil in the 1920s than anywhere else in the world, more than Southwest, more than the Middle East. This is where all the oil came from. And at the conclusion of World War I, the world and the governments of the world realized that oil, especially the U.S. government, realized that oil was important for the next if we were going to have another war.
Right.
So Los Angeles didn't get built on the entertainment industry. It was built on oil, and it went from being like a very small little town of pueblos to one of the fastest growing cities in the world during the 1920s. And so I've developed a sort of, along with these other amazing people that I'm working with, we have phenomenal people attached, great actors and directors, and there's amazing people attached. But it's really about the foundation of Los Angeles and sort of how the city came to be. And really, Los Angeles is Mexico. We're living in Mexico. We won the war with them, and we took their land. And so it's sort of about the tension with that and how the city came to be. So I know that's probably not what you thought it was going to be, but it's that was a subject that interests me a lot.
And then I think it's very interesting because that's people, especially now, people have to hear true stories. I mean, or the factual stories because you think everything LA is Tinseltown. And I just saw something about the deal that was it Mobile made or something years ago about the system, the transit system, the subways, and they sat there and they got rid of it. And I heard LA had like one of the best public transportation systems, the subway, and Mobile said, no, we'll do this. And then, of course, in the long run, they made the money. So that's interesting. So now, how did you decide? I mean, what piqued your interest about this project?
My partner brought it to me, and having been born here, I always had a fascination with the city and the foundation of how Los Angeles came to be, and really how the whole city rose in the facade of all is glitter and all is gold, but really what's sort of behind all that bullshit. That was interesting. So when he brought it to me, I got, always with a love of Los Angeles and a love of Hollywood, I got interested. And then when you dig into LA and sort of see how corrupt and how, I mean, New York, New York was always a massive city, but it took its time to get where it got. Los Angeles got built, became like from nothing to something really fast. So it's a really interesting story in that it was outlaws and banditos, and all of a sudden there was like a city hall and a police department, and it was lawless. It was insane.
Now, is this going to be a movie or a TV show?
This will be a TV series.
And now,
cable.
Now, how do you sit there and actually find all these facts? 'Cause that's what fascinates me because we're in such an internet age now. But a long time ago, there wasn't any internet. Like you sit there and find, how do you find the facts?
I mean, well, I have probably 300 or 400 hours of research for just this project alone. It's a lot of books. There is internet, of course. I mean, there's going to visit places. I mean, listen, there's so many things I can tell you about the city because I've lived in it now for a couple of years. I mean, well, lived in it meaning lived in the research of this city for a couple of years. But like, for instance, Hitler had a bunker here, which is in the Pacific Palisades, and there was a group of Nazis that built a bunker. This is all before World War II, you understand, because Hitler's rise was in the 20s and 30s, way before World War II. He was doing his thing, and there was there was a group of, they were called the Silver Shirts, and it was a massive Nazi party in Los Angeles waiting for the Fuhrer to take over and come here and have his base. And it's still there in the Pacific Palisades, the base and the foundations of Hitler's bunker. Isn't that amazing?
Because that's something you never see on a postcard.
Nope.
Come see Hitler's bunker. Give me some other interesting facts, because I love factual stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love stuff like this too. But so, really, the religion and cult scene in Los Angeles was incredible. There was evangelists and these people that were larger than life. Simple McPherson was this one lady who had a following of hundreds of thousands of people, and she was like an evangelist, and it was her own religion, right? It was her own religion, and she would have people, tens of thousands of people would come to her weekly masses or sermons or whatever it was, and then one day she just went missing, and the city was, I mean, this is in the 1920s, right? Like the city went nuts, like it was the equivalent of as if right now Obama went missing. That's how, and it was insane. And she turned up having an affair with someone in Palm Springs, but then had to go to Venice Beach and throw herself in the ocean to make it look like she had tried to been murdered. I mean, these are the stories that are the city was just amazing. There was hundreds of thousands. I think there was a point where there was 100,000 people in the streets for her funeral because I thought she was dead, but then she just turned up in a hotel room in Palm Springs. So these are the things that are kind of amazing to me.
And that's what's great, though, because that's what's like something like a series you're working on.
Yeah.
That's what people love, because you love to see stuff that is just so, sounds so bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
We sit there, and when you sit there and you go, man, it's like that's why period pieces are so great. And I'm hoping now, do you have an idea when this may come out, or are you just pitching it, or?
No. Well, the thing that you have to do now, and that's taking a long time, is breaking out the story for what the season will be.
Okay.
So working with the team on how the series will go, and then when you've broken it down, then you hope to God that you can sell it, because it's a period piece, and it's not a line of people going, I want to write a check for millions of dollars to make a period piece. You have to find a group of people that understand that. I mean, this is going to be a detective in a crime story. It's going to be built around a crime story. So it's going to follow a plot set in the foundations of Los Angeles.
Now, will you be involved in the acting? Would you want to be involved in acting, or you just want to run the show? Because I'm sure that must be such a responsibility to do both.
I'm not going to run the show because I don't have the ability to run the show. You know, I helped create it, but it will need it will have a proper showrunner with a team of writers. I'll be involved in the writing of it to help and to learn. You know, I want to be in the writer's room and learn. And yeah, I'll probably play a reporter. You know, back in the day, Steve, Los Angeles had 12 newspapers, right? So there was morning editions, afternoon editions. It was the equivalent of like, you know, Twitter or Instagram now, where you get your feed. Newspapers ran the city. 12 newspapers, right? So you had continual, like the whole thing, reporters scouring all day long for stories. It was the equivalent of like, you know, viral things would happen in the city.
See, that's what's cool. I remember when I moved here like 15 years ago, and I lived in this little studio in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And down the street there was always like I forget, it was off Hollywood Boulevard. There was like that newsstand.
What was the street?
I'm not sure, because I lived on Leland, but this was down. I lived on Leland and Sunset.
Yeah, you're talking about the newsstand that was on the south side of the street.
And it was just long.
Right around Cherokee.
Yeah, and it had so many, and it was so cool, you know. And that was like, when I was a kid, I loved that because I loved sports, and my parents would take me to this, what they call here a swap meet. We called it back east, a flea market.
Yeah.
And these guys would sell sporting news and all that with the cover ripped off for cheaper.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And now it's like people don't understand like how cool a newspaper was. Like when you sat and you got on a train, or when you had your coffee in the morning. Now you're on the tablet, and it's like, and I miss that sometimes, because it was like that part of just like, if you're in a newspaper, like if you're in an article, like I did stand-up comedy, I had an article in the Courier Post, which is the one, and that was a big thing. Now it's like, if you have an article, there's 8 million little outlets on the computer.
Right.
There's not that same thing anymore.
Well, so here's the interesting thing about that. So we talk about how different things are now with social media, and that you can get immediate news or data instantaneously on your phone. So check it out. So back in the day in LA, everything was the same. It was all run through the ads, or through the in the newspaper. What's it called? I'm blanking on the word
Classified?
right now. Yeah. So everything. So, but that includes like, hey, I'll meet you for lunch, or Sally, you never showed up at the coffee stand. Like it was all the same stuff. And with 12 papers a day, you could run continual outlets and continual information every day, and that's actually how the city ran its basic kind of like data through this through the pipes of the city was all through that.
Now, is this one of the first projects you've tried to create, or have you been trying this for a while? Because I know you've been acting a lot, but
Yeah.
Is this something that you've...
No, my wife and I have been working on a couple things for a while. We have a kids project that we've been working on, like a kids adventure show. We've been developing our own show about marriage. We're in love with this process, like just the development of it, but getting it right, working things out. This city is built on great writers, and really that's where it comes down to is working and finding wonderful writers. And so, yeah, I love this stuff. And then there's a documentary I'm making about the Little Rock Nine.
Okay, well, now what's that? I love documentaries. I'm a big
Yeah.
guy. So what's the backstory?
Little Rock Nine is a famous story about 9 African American kids from Little Rock, Arkansas, that when the governor of Arkansas passed, I'm not going to get into too many things that are going to bore people,
Right.
but they passed a law that would integrate the schools of Arkansas. A similar law had passed in other states nearby, and so the law had passed, and the governor of Arkansas tried to stop it. And prevent the kids from integrating the school. So if you ever, there's famous footage, you can Google it, of these young African American teenagers that tried to attend high school, and the National Guard stopped them because the governor usurped the National Guard, which is illegal, usurped them to stop the African American kids from getting into school. And it was a nightmare. It was a riot, and people, and then so then the president of the United States had to intervene and actually had to get the governor of Arkansas over to him in D.C. and tell him he couldn't do what he was doing. The governor of Arkansas wouldn't listen, so the president of the United States got the 101st Airborne and mobilized the 101st Airborne to Little Rock, Arkansas. This is a famous event. This for a period of the course of a year was more newsworthy than what was happening with space flight or wars across the world. This was a national story. So we are making the documentary. The same group of people that I'm working with on this Los Angeles story are making this documentary about the Little Rock Nine. We've interviewed already half of the original 9 members. One of them has passed, so we have a couple more to go. And it's going to be a spectacular story of the history of what happened to these 9 essentially kids. I mean, they had the 50th year anniversary, and President Clinton was there. This is a big thing, because the Clintons are from Little Rock. Well, are they from Little Rock? They're from Arkansas. They're from nearby. Clinton is from nearby, but Little Rock was their mainstay. So these are issues that a lot of people have a lot of interest in. So that's the Little Rock Nine.
So that's good though. So you have ideas that are, they're socially aware, but they also, they're history enriched, and that's what's good, 'cause you need that.
Both of those that I mentioned you, both of them seem to be a little enriched in history, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they are, because it's something that, I mean, the LA thing fascinates me. That's what oil.
Oh, the LA.
And that's the kind of thing, you watch it. It's like when LA Confidential came out, and the DVD, and this was years ago when DVDs were new.
Sure.
They had like a map of like an interactive map where you can sit there and go, wow, okay, well, the Formosa, I've been there, that's still open.
Yeah.
But all these different things, and when you watch something, you want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it more tangible.
Oh, the team and I have watched LA Confidential a dozen times in the last year or so, because it's a masterpiece, and we're doing our LA story, so it's a template for sure. LA was just a series of oil fields for a long time. I mean, there's photos of Los Angeles where it looks like it's incredible. There's just oil derricks everywhere.
Now, you also have a podcast going.
Yeah, so I have a podcast.
Now, when did you start that, and how did that come about?
My podcast that Jen and I have is called Kicking and Screaming. It's a podcast about marriage. We're about to release our 50th episode this next Sunday.
Sweet.
You can get it on iTunes, or we're part of the Nerdist network. It's my wife and I have been together for 26 years, and fucking marriages are amazing. They're hard, and they're fun, and they're crazy, and relationships are just crazy. It's not just marriages, right? It's just relationships, because it could really be any type of relationship, whether it's doesn't matter.
The whole concept of it
They're
can be
just fucking crazy.
It can be a band. It can be a boyfriend girlfriend. It can be a coworker. I mean, relationships. And the thing is,
long-term relationships, they have a tendency to they just become fucking crazy and funny.
Well, yeah, because that's funny you say that, because my father passed a few years ago, but my parents were married for 55 years.
Wow, yeah.
And you would sit there and as a kid, I never saw them argue, but they would. There's things they'd argue about would be the stupidest things.
Oh my God!
Like, oh yeah, we're at a restaurant and the upstairs they had the nicest copper things, and my dad would go, no, they were silver, and then it was fun. And I finally go, screw it. I'd call the restaurant. I go, hey, upstairs, what color? And they go, oh well, they're pewter. And I'm like, oh, see, you're both wrong. But and it's like you because you have to know that person so much, and I think after a while. You have to not argue, but you have to bicker a little bit just to make things interesting.
I think we make each other crazy, but we love each other. It's
now, how do you make her crazy?
Oh my God, I know I make my wife crazy because I don't pay attention to details sometimes. So there's constant things where I'm kind of like flighty and artistic, and she's very practical, and so there'll be details that I miss, and she thinks listen. I know my wife thinks I'm slightly retarded. I know that's politically incorrect, but I know that my wife thinks I suffer from just very slight retardation. But that she.
Well, I get that too, because I get it from my girlfriend Joanne. She always goes, "Didn't you read the text?" Or I'll read something,
yes.
And you look real quick, but you.
I get the idea. I get the gist.
But then you'll miss one little thing, and they'll be like, "But it said," I'm like,
"Yeah,
I got the gist."
Yeah, I got the gist of it, and my wife is like, "You're." You're barely functioning, Bodie. You're I don't know how you wipe your ass in the mornings. You're barely functional. And I'm like, I feel fine. I just, I got the gist.
Now what drives you crazy about her?
Let's see. Oh, that's a very, my wife is fantastic. I think I married way, 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 way up. So the only thing about my wife is that, oh God! I mean,
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No. Yeah, I'm afraid to say I'm a beaten man.
Take the fish.
Here's the thing. I'm a beaten man. I'm afraid. I'll come back and she'll have a sack of oranges.
Yeah. So she doesn't leave marks.
She doesn't want to leave marks. Everything's below the neck.
So now what made you guys decide to do the podcast? Just because you had a good relationship, or you wanted?
I had a midlife crisis and I wanted to go fuck cheerleaders. Okay. And my wife was like, all right, well, go fuck cheerleaders then. But, you've got 2 kids, so how do you want to go about this? So what happened was that I had sort of hit my 40s, and I was like, I really, I've been in this marriage for a long time, and I love my kids, and I love you, but I think I really want to go fuck some cheerleaders. And she's my best friend, so I thought I'd tell her about it.
Good move.
So she was like, okay, well, here's the thing. Go fuck whoever you want to fuck, and don't come back with any cooties. And you better be a dad for your kids. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, just go do whatever you got to do. And so I was like, oh, is this like Jedi mind fuck? Is this real? Is this really happening? And I thought about it. And I went through the 5 girls. I was like, okay, I'm going to call that girl. I'm going to call that girl. And then I was like, man, my kids are going to grow up and they're going to can I look them in the eye? And I realized that my wife had done the Jedi mind trick on me. I was like, no, of course I'm not gonna do anything stupid. So I realized that I needed an outlet for all the pent up sort of energy of the relationship, of things I wanted to say, and that, all that stuff. So we just started kicking and screaming, and we just started to talk about shit, and it just made us laugh. It just made us laugh. And that was it. And we started to do it infrequently, and then when we signed with Nerdist, then now it's every Sunday night. Every Monday, the new podcast comes out.
Now, do you sit there and do you do preparation? Sit there and go, okay, we're going to talk about this week?
I don't tell her anything. I do it myself. I like throwing her softballs and just let her hit them. And for the record, Steve, I didn't fuck any cheerleaders, nor anyone else for that matter.
Well, I can tell. I'm sure you wouldn't.
It was a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, but I'm sure. I mean, that's like anything. It's like the old TV shows. So, well, you can kiss me if you want.
Right.
Oh, I can't. That's the thing. She was sitting there and she sat there and
she called my bluff.
Yeah, and she knew you'd get more than the gist.
Yeah.
You get the point.
But I had to come to it on my own, right? Because I think long-term marriages, you can't have a long-term marriage or relationship. Marriage isn't important. Relationship. And you can't put things like, hey, if you ever fool around on me, I'll kill you. Or I'll leave you. I think stuff like that, I think it makes things tight and tense and clenched. I think you got to have it loose. Though my wife and I have been together 26 years, and neither of us have ever been with another person, let alone held the hand of another person in 26 years. But part of that is like, if my wife came to me and she was like, all right, so yeah, you know,
Right.
I would be all right. Well, yeah, I mean, fucking stuff happens. Let's see if we can work this out. I wouldn't. It would be very hard for us to be, you know, to do something. People are human and they make errors, and I think you got to have forgiveness. And I think part of that forgiveness is part of the reason why neither of us have actually done anything stupid, because there's a certain amount of like, hey, people are human. And I do have the ability to tell my wife anything, and she can tell me anything. I tell her, oh man, there was a girl and I was flirting with her. I feel shitty. I was kind of just chatting with her and she was cute and I kept looking at her tits. And my wife laughs and a story. And then believe it or not, me telling her about it kind of deflates that scene. And now I don't think about that girl and I'm kind of done. It gets it out there and it's done.
Because once, you know, the whole thing about flirting, I think, and people know this, if you're in a relationship, the whole thing about flirting is like that little bit of danger. Are we going to act on it? No, I would never cheat on my girlfriend.
Of course.
But if you flirt, that's the whole thing of that danger. And then when you tell them, then you're cleansing yourself. You're sort of saying, you know what, here's what I did. And they're probably thinking, like you don't even have a chance with her. You know, that in the old head, they're like,
well, I know Jenna thinks by the way, I also know Jenna let me do whatever I wanted, knowing that, because in my mind, I think I'm incredibly sexy and that hot women would continually just like throw themselves at me. But really, I'm an older, aging Jewish skinny white guy. So the actual fact is I probably wouldn't have gotten any action. And my wife is the only one that knows this because I'm not aware of it.
Right.
Because I still think I'm incredibly cute.
Yeah, well, me, I always go, I'm bald and I'm cross-eyed. I always say to my friends, I go, I have a beautiful, beautiful girlfriend. I said, you guys, when I see friends like who are good-looking guys who can't get someone, I go, guys, look at you and look at me. Look at Joanne. She's beautiful. And they're like, well, yeah, because you're funny. No, dude, I'm bald and I'm cross-eyed. Okay, so I said, I don't want to hear it because you look good. You make good money. You drive a nice car. There's no reason why you're not dating anyone. I drive an old piece of shit car because I'm frugal and I like my car.
Right.
And I have her. Just think what you could do. And that's the thing. It's we still think in our mind, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think I'd just clean up. I think I would just fucking clean up.
So now what's up with the acting? After acting all these years, what do you've done? You were on Touch, which was a very good show.
Yeah.
And you played it was
Avram, an Hasidic Jew that's very steeped in mysticism and Kabbalah, and he was that guy.
Now, did you enjoy that role?
I loved it.
I mean, so what did you love about the role? Because I watched that show.
Oh, I love the stuff that Avram got to talk about. He was always like, the numbers of the Cohedrum were steeped in history. Like, he was always kind of involved in some crazy stuff that I just loved it. It was great. Also, I just got to play a badass Jew. How many badass Jews are out there?
I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. There wasn't many. There was a few accountants that did good taxes.
Yeah, Avram was a badass Jew.
Now, what are some other roles you've really liked in your career? Because as I said, you have over 100 credits, and I just want to hear what you enjoy. And also, have you ever got killed on screen?
I've been killed many times.
Okay, now I want to hear, because this is one thing, like with my guests, that fascinates me.
Tons of killings.
Like what's the lamest killing and what's the best killing?
Oh my God, Steve, these are amazing questions, because I'm gonna have to go back into the deep files.
That's Cooper talk.
Holy shit. Okay. So let me get this. You want the most amazing killing? What do you want?
Yeah, like the one that was, you were like, oh my God, that scared the crap out of me. Or you're like, wow, that was really technically done so well. And I'm going to do the one that you just said, what the hell was that? That's killing me?
Well,
come on.
Oh my God, my father made a film where I get killed and then by a bunch of shrunken heads that attack me, like shrunken flying heads. And it was a film called Shrunken Heads. That was really a funny film. And so I get killed by the flying shrunken heads, and then I come back from the dead. But that was kind of fun because it was my father's film and I got to act with my father. There's been some killings of jumping off large objects, and that's always scary because I'm not an action guy. I'm a character guy, but I've done more action sequences than most of the people that I know. And for some reason, I'm always the one that's. And I don't know why that is, Steve. I have no idea why I get cast in roles that require action. I should be the guy that's just nerdily sitting in front of a computer typing away. And I've been that guy a million times too. But I've done, so I guess dramatic ones have been flying off buildings and things like that, where they really did want to use me and they had things to catch me, and I hated stuff like that.
It's so funny is because I don't like heights. And you know that when they say
Yeah.
you jump off the building, you know it's safe because you don't see stories of actors getting hurt and dying every day. But it must.
No, I never thought it was safe.
But no, I mean, so how do you sit there?
No, I hated it.
So I mean, do you sit there? And I've always wondered that when you do like a jump like that, is it you have to hit it in one take, or they're gonna be pissed?
No,
or-
they do it usually two to three. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've done action or stunt sequences where I felt that something was wrong. There was a TV show I did. It was an American show, but it filmed in Canada, and I found, and I hope that there are Canadian crew members listening. I found them to be 7 notches below what American crews are, and I mean that. And
in what way?
Oh, below professionalism and competence. And I hope they're listening. I hope they get mad at me and then get better at what they're doing, because they were 7 notches below. The American crews are spectacular. They're spectacular. Like this city has the best production crews in the world. The Canadian crews were not at that level at all. So I was working on a TV show, and there was a lot of action sequences, and there was stunts where I went, okay, so we're gonna stand here and that blows up, and then we jump off that. And I kept saying, that doesn't seem right. And they were like, oh, we know what we're talking about. And there was times where I went, why don't you just do a test? Why don't you just do a test yourself, stunt guy and action department? And they did it, and they all got injured and sent to the hospital. Like, I caught it several times where I was like, you would have killed me. You would have absolutely killed me.
So no, how do you keep working on a show like that when that happens? Because the whole thing is the crew. You have to be harmonious. You must sit there. That's like equivalent of going through.
I hated it.
But no, as an actor, how do you get through it? Because you can't quit the job. I mean, you just
do it.
You think what every 9 to 5 guy who hates his
yeah, you just do it. Well, I mean, you just get your hat on, your professional hat on, and kick ass. But I did have a rule at a certain point, is that I wouldn't do a stunt unless the head stunt coordinator would do it first. Like he had to, I wouldn't do one thing until he did it.
Now that's smart though.
Yeah.
I mean, but in America you would do it though. In LA you would do it.
Yeah, those guys are amazing here. They know their business.
So what are some of the fun stunts you've done? Because it's so funny when you said you're the type the character actor that does a lot more than others, and as you said, you played a violent Hasidic Jew, which so you're putting those roles, which must be cool. But what are some because I always sit there, I think, because whenever I see people like running and shooting guns, I sit there and go, God, I can never do that because I'm just not in that good a shape, because you sit there and you have to carry the stuff. Okay, so what are some really cool stunts you've done?
Okay, well, I mean, they're probably, listen, we're in an age now where there's people doing stunts that are next level. I mean, Tom Cruise's airplane move in the newest Mission Impossible was out of control, right? So my stuff's not going to go.
But it's cool.
It's not going to go. What he did was unbelievable. I loved it. But my stuff isn't going to go anywhere near that. But just great. I got to do some great wire work on that show I did in Canada. That was a lot of fun.
Walking on a wire?
No, you know what? Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where you're doing martial art work, but on wires. So it looks like you can do, you're hooked up to like harnesses that they take away with CGI later. So when you're doing kicks and jumps, you can do far better moves than gravity would really allow you.
Okay.
That kind of, it's like circus work, right? So that kind of stuff is amazing. But you're hooked up to these really complex harness systems. So you can do like a flying roundhouse, which gravitationally would not quite work, but for the
right.
but for the show, you're like, man, that guy got real air.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And then there was an indie film I did with Norman Reedus from Walking Dead. It was me and Norman Reedus and a few other really far out people. And there was some great stunts of jumping off piers into the ocean in the middle of the night, and that was wild because you had to keep doing it. And that was a dark, freezing water.
Yeah, that must be scary. Are you a very good swimmer?
I'm a good swimmer, yeah, okay. but it's not like it wasn't jumping off into tidal waves, or it was just jumping into freezing dark water in the middle of the night. Like you just do it. Yeah, and you have to do a couple takes. But I had a cold the minute I hit the water. You're just miserable. And then I've been sent to the hospital on 2 occasions from stunts.
Now what happened there? Because that would be frustrating. I mean, that's got to be like you guys sit there and go,
yeah,
I came to work, and it's like anything. You feel like you feel like, oh God, I'm the putz that got.
Oh yeah. I've been.
What happened?
I've been sent to the hospital twice. So one was on the TV show in Canada. This is what led to me making the stunt guys do it first.
That Canada show, it was not a good thing.
It was not a good thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, it was not. I'm really actively against this whole productions moving to Canada thing. I did a thing where I run up a wall and then I get into a kick with someone, and we landed wrong, and my ankle just went like that and snapped. And then the other hospital was the fight sequence in that film with Norman Reedus called Sand, this little odd little indie film that you can like possibly find somewhere. But there's a fight sequence where everyone... Oh, you know who else is in it? That great actor from... Oh, okay, I'm getting his name wrong, so screw it. But the wonderful character actor. John... I'm not even going to do it. Okay.
What movie was he in?
So he did the great film about he plays like a cult leader who plays guitar. He's got long brown hair and he's a character face, and and I know this. I've known this guy forever, and I can't think of his name. Is it not Hughes? His last name maybe Hughes.
Look it up.
Okay, but I'll tell you while you're looking it up. He also did Deadwood. He also was in Deadwood. He had a great part in Deadwood. Charlie Hughes? John? No. Okay. Regardless, there's a fight sequence at the end of the film where all these guys jump into a jacuzzi and beat each other up. And I was wearing sandals because I play a beach guy, and my foot just got split open in every which way because everyone was wearing combat boots, and we're in a jacuzzi in a fist fight. I just got... Who's the kid's name in Deadwood? Is it John Hughes? Charlie Hughes? Hawks. John Hawks.
John Hawks. Great actor.
God.
See that? You got it. But you remember you had the John part, right?
Yeah, John Hawks, Norman Reedus, myself, a few other far-out actors were in it. And my foot got split open. I ended up in the hospital.
Now, when you know there's going to be a fight scene, and because you do these things, do you have to start exercising before? I mean, how do you sit there? Because you have to mentally prepare to be in the scene.
Yeah, I get all worked up.
And did you start work? I mean, are you a physical? Do you work out a lot? Do you do yoga? Do you go to the gym? Or
here's the truth: I'm a small guy. I'm slight, but I'm in pretty decent shape. I've boxed my whole life, but not. I mean, I boxed and I've done martial arts and I swim and I bicycle and I do stuff. So I'm not by any means. Don't get the idea that I'm like a CrossFit dude, but I stay in pretty decent shape because I don't want my wife to run off with a good-looking athlete.
Well, but you're the good-looking guy. She's there to stay because she gave you the chance, and now she knows I gave him the chance to go fuck cheerleaders,
right?
And he didn't. He didn't even fucking.
Because there was a line of them.
Yeah, there was a
line of them, Steve. I mean, sure, there was a line of. From here to UC Irvine.
I'm sure, yeah. The whole USC staff. I mean, I'm looking at me. I would probably get like the flag girl, I would, or a majorette,
Oh God, I hope that day never comes where I get forced with to actually confront who I could get.
So now you were in Almost Famous, but it didn't make the clip.
I was in Cameron Crowe's director's cut. I played Alice Cooper's tour manager.
Now, have you been a big Cameron Crowe fan? Was that great? I mean, is there some people you've worked with that you go, wow, I love their work?
I knew him. I met him socially, and he just asked me to be in it. And I was like, hell yeah. So it's a scene that's in the director's cut with Kate Hudson. No, yeah, Kate Hudson, right?
Right.
She's
funny.
Right. And we're all in the lobby. Oh, and Anna Paquin, right? It was also in the scene. Great. Sorry, these were a long time ago.
I know, but it's great.
Kate Hudson, Anna Paquin, myself, and all these other people were in the lobby of what's called the famous Hyatt House, Sunset Hyatt. And I play Alice Cooper's tour manager, and we get into a conversation or whatever, and that was kind of fun because I'm wearing a wig and a whole thing.
Now, do you get wigs a lot, or I mean, how about your beard? Do people make you shave your beard at times for roles, or they say, "Hey, grow that beard. We want to see that Bodie Alpman beard"? How's that happen?
Commercials usually make me shave it, but I don't do a lot of commercials anymore because I'm just sort of interested in other stuff. So I keep my beard now. Now they keep it.
Doesn't it piss you off, though, that you've had a beard on and off for a long time, and now everybody in LA has beards? I always sit there. It's like I used to have the little soul patch, and everyone got it. And and I've always worn it.
The hipsters are. I'm trying to take the beard back.
How are you gonna do that? Because I think you need to take the beard back. Because everyone and they do the weird shit with the beard, and they
I'm gonna shame the hipsters for having beards.
Okay.
And then go into isolation for a while, and then come back out with my beard, and all the hipsters will have shaved theirs.
It's crazy, isn't it crazy? Like it's like when tattoos exploded.
Right.
Like when I went to college, there was like one girl, and she was this really beautiful girl. Her name was Susan Yaros. We used to call her Miss Teenage America. We had like nicknames for everybody. Yeah. And she had a tattoo on her ankle.
Sure.
And back in the 80s, no one really had tattoos.
My mom's had tattoos her whole life since the 60s.
So your mom's hip. Your mom was before the trend.
Well, my mom is a hardcore Los Angeles feminist lesbian.
Right. You said that.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy now? Like all of a sudden, like something will take off, like the tattoos. All of a sudden take off and everybody has them.
Right.
Do you have any tattoos?
I do, but I've had them for a long time. I've had all my tattoos for a long time.
So then the beard, and you're sitting there going, wait a second, because back then, like no one had beards. Like
Right.
Bluto from Popeye had beards,
Right.
or cowboys.
Sailors.
Yeah, and
Sailors
now,
and submariners.
yeah, and now you look around. I mean, it must because you dress hip. People must think you're a hipster sometimes. That must get you pissed off.
Well, here's the best part of it. So, okay, you nailed me, and I applaud you for nailing me. And here's why. I was trying to explain to my sons what a hipster is because I live in Los Angeles and there's hipsters everywhere. It's like it's a fucking infestation. So I was trying to explain to them. One day I was going off on hipsters in front of the UCB, UCB on Franklin, because that's the epicenter of the hipster.
Okay.
And that's where they aggregate to do their hipsterisms, and it's pretty and it's obnoxious. And I was off on some rant about hipsters, and my son was like, "What's a hipster?" So I tried to explain what my son does, what a hipster is to my son, and my older one was like, "Well, that's you. Like you have a beard, and you wear pants that are kind of skinny on the bottom, and you wear nice like sneakers sometimes." And I was driving, and there's that moment where you're like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh, I'm that." But I did it forever. I'm just me.
No, you aren't though, because you're before. It's like anything, if you
I'm
do
just
it
me.
before.
Here's the difference. I'm going to tell you what the difference is, because I was forced to make a difference. Otherwise, I would have made myself look like a total ass. So in that moment, I realized here's the differentiation between myself, having a beard or whatever, and hipsters. Hipsters don't give a shit about anything, but care a little about a lot of things. Okay, so let's get that. So hipsters don't really know much about anything or care much about anything, but care a little about a lot of things. I don't care about a lot of things. I care about a few things, and things I care about a lot, and am very knowledgeable in those things. Hipsters are kind of like, yeah, the environment. Yeah, discrimination. Yeah, Obama. Yeah, fuck Trump. But then you sit them down and you ask them what they're talking about. They have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
Well, that's like the people
That's a hipster.
Yeah, because you sit there sometimes, and I hate when people use the word genius or brilliant so easily. Like, oh, well, such and such's work is just brilliant. And I would go,
right.
And sometimes I don't understand. I'm thinking maybe I'm stupid. I miss the brilliance.
Right.
But I'll go, well, what makes it brilliant?
Right.
And it's the same thing. Whoa. Yeah, but okay, I understand that. But what makes it brilliant?
Right.
I'm a big Springsteen fan. Oh, why do you like Springsteen? Because I grew up listening to music. I love his lyrics. That's why it's passionate.
But he's incredible.
Right.
What he did was incredible.
Oh,
what he does is incredible. He's an incredible songwriter.
But for them, they're like, oh, you're right, because it's like there's no
hipsters are quick to criticize, but they don't know much about anything else. Like I don't like that movie, and I don't really a big fan of that guy. And I was like,
and
those are hipsters.
And you know what else they do? And I notice this on Facebook a lot.
Yeah.
Let's say someone says, let's say I post something and someone says, we hate that guest. He's an asshole.
Right.
But then like 8 other people go, oh man, we love his work. Well, I always go, hey, it's great that these people said this about such and such.
Sure.
What hipsters do is they'll put the negative thing up and they'll go, I can't believe such and such said this.
Right.
I go, yeah, but you got 10 other nice things said. So why would you do that?
Yeah,
That's
right.
funny.
Yeah, so I was forced to discern what a hipster was. Otherwise, my sons would think I was a hipster, and I didn't want that to happen.
That's not good. So now, I'm like, what do you and your wife do for fun? Because you're both known faces in Hollywood. How is it? Do you go to see concerts? Because I would always think, and you said you're not someone who's been in the tabloids because you've been together and you've
26 years, we've kept clean. I think.
So, I mean, what do you? I mean, is it just? Are you nice? Because tabloid people are just idiots. They'll show up. Do you just sit there and just say, "Hey, how you doing?" and they just go their merry way?
Okay, well that's too good. Those are great questions. The first question, what do? We do stuff with our kids. I'm obsessed with my 2 boys. I have a 6 and 8-year-old, and I'm obsessed. So we don't do much without them because we like being with them. So everything we do has that element to it. Like we're off on some adventure at the beach or a hike or Yosemite. I'm a massive hiker. I like to do big Yosemite hikes. I bring my oldest because this youngest is not quite ready for the hikes I do. I love stuff like that. Jenna does great stuff with the kids. As far as the press or the tabloids, we're pretty boring, right? We just kind of do our art, and we just kind of create our art and do our thing, and there's not much to talk about. And they do things where they try to kind of maybe push your buttons a little bit, and we just ignore them. The thing you don't want to do is get engaged or answer back, because that's what they're hoping to do. And they're pretty mean, meaning that they'll now get in your face and try to ask an imposing question, hoping to get a reaction. And we just ignore. The only thing that gets my wife is when they point the camera at the kids. She gets a little pissed off.
Yeah, well, because I think that's the one thing that just disgusts me.
She loses her temper, and she knows that she can't lose her temper because that's what they're hoping will happen. They want her to lose her temper. But she's had a couple times where she's been like, not the kids, guys, not the kids. Come on, not the kids.
Well, I think that's just common decency. It's like when Nia Bartolos was on, she would always put her kid in paint, because she didn't like a face paint. Like, we're going to dress you up like a lion. Because then the photographers would be like, oh, shit, we want to get a picture of that damn kid. Yeah. But the kid's dressed like a lion. He's got a lion face. And I think that's something that's just, the kids should be off. Because, it's
off limits.
Because the bottom line is it's not safe. It's like, I think it's sad that a photographer want to take pictures. Because first of all, your kids aren't famous.
Yeah, right.
They think you're a hipster.
Right.
Unless they dress like hipsters.
I'm just a bearded hipster. What do they care about me? No, we're pretty easy. We're boring. We're artists. We're just into our art and creating TV and movie and projects, and we just do our thing. So we're not out doing shit.
Now, how long do you expect to do the podcast? You like to do it every week? Is it something you find therapeutic, or is it something that
it's therapeutic for sure for the marriage. Oh yeah, we talk about shit.
Do you ever get pissed off at each other? Like when you get off air, you go, man, why'd you bring that shit up?
Oh yeah, so we went 45 episodes with not getting in anything too heavy. On episode 46, we got into it. I made her cry. We had to stop. It's there in the podcast. We had to stop the fucking podcast where I went in the back. The camera crew's sitting around waiting. I had to go in the back and talk to her for half an hour in the bathroom. Her mascara's running. She's crying. And then that tumbled into another episode where then my mood crashed and I got completely upset. And it went, so we had it was three of them back to back to back where it got real serious. And Jenna, it was a big deal. I got really pissed off and upset because it went too far into some shit. So yes. But then I got upset that I thought it was really bad podcasting. And the response was like, no, that's from people was like they really liked it.
Now, you said camera. Is it video too?
We video our podcast now.
Okay, so you video it.
Yeah, it's a vodcast.
So you guys are just sitting there talking, and then it's videos on you.
Yep.
See, someone always said to me, they said, why, you should do your video. I said, well, first of all, I said, who wants to watch me? They want to listen. And then my other thing is, it's like, you can't have two cameras because the way it's set up, everyone's like, and I'm like.
We do one camera.
Yeah, well, because you guys probably sit next to each other.
Sit next to each other at a counter, at our kitchen counter. Yep. Just go to Kicking and Screaming on iTunes or YouTube or Nerdist and check it out. But we sit at a counter. We just talk to each other, and it's at our own kitchen counter in our house. That's it.
Now, do you think you've been helping people? Because from the responses you get, you think people go, this is really good, and you must feel great about that.
Yeah, I like that. People are like, man, you made us talk about stuff, and the fact that you guys are confronting that kind of stuff. I mean, I think every guy wants to fuck a cheerleader.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So you're sitting there, unless you're married to a cheerleader, then you want to screw someone else.
My wife wants me to point out when I make that joke that I mean college or above cheerleaders.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know.
Because I've made that joke before, and my wife's like, you imbecile, you better point out what you mean by cheerleader. And I mean, University of Texas cheerleaders.
Right. I know.
Okay, good.
You're not meaning like,
I don't even want to. I'm not even going to say that. Yes, you get the point.
Or DeVry Tech. You don't want to hook up with the DeVry Tech.
Now wait a second. Okay, that could be kind of amazing.
Well, yeah, but I've never been. I don't think DeVry is a football team. Okay, so we have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
What else is coming up for you? What do you got planned in the future?
Well, we've got. You got me. You got me on that one. We've got the podcast coming out every week. Jenna and I are developing this marriage show, and Jenna just did a project for ABC, and we'll hope that goes, and we'll see what happens. But right now, we're just putting out our podcast like mad. Every week, there's a new episode ready to go, and maybe you'll be seeing a TV show about the foundations of Los Angeles built around a crime novel, and then maybe a documentary on the Little Rock Nine.
I would like that. You gotta get the stuff out there. Now, what's your social media? I know you tweet. That's how I found you. I found you on Twitter.
Yeah, Bodie Elfman. It's a hard one. It's Bodhi. That's the Bodie part. Bodie Elfman. ELFMAN. It's an unusual name. Hippie mom. Bodie Elfman. At Bodie Elfman on everything.
How many times a day do people screw up your name? Because people can't pronounce my name sometimes.
Right.
How many times?
I get Bodhi a lot, or Bodhi.
Bodhi.
Yeah. It's a Buddhist name.
But if you looked at it, you would think it wouldn't be Bodhi, it'd be Bodhi. If they were going to pronounce it that way.
Right. It's from Buddhism, right? So it's taking the word Buddha. Buddha just means one who has achieved Bodhi. That's it means the state of Bodhi is the state of ethical and intellectual perfection in the religion of Buddhism. Buddha just means he achieved the state of Bodhi. He was Siddhartha, sat under the fig tree, and achieved Bodhi. So then he became Buddha. So that's why it's the silent H, Bodhi.
And he didn't fuck cheerleaders.
No, he did not. He thought about it, maybe.
Yeah. I want to thank you for coming on. I'm glad you can make it. People, so go follow him. It's at Bodhi Elfman.
Yep.
And go, and did you tweet a lot?
I tweet and Instagram all the time.
And Instagram's at Bodie Elfman also.
That's right.
Cool. So go follow him, people. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Cooper Talk. I'm at Cooper Talk. Instagram, I'm at Cooper Talk 1. My Instagram more is I do a lot of the food I cook because I do what I call eat healthy and cheap because as you know, my cookbook, if you go to my website, stopthesalt.com, when I had my health problem, I had to change my diet a little bit. Now that was almost 4 years ago that I got out of the hospital. So go to stopthesalt.com. It's 120 low sodium recipes. There's no pictures, okay? Because guys, it's mostly cooking for one. It's cooking for guys. When you look at a cookbook and you see the pictures, you get intimidated. There's no pictures on this, and there's no major ingredients. I mean, I have cumin now because I'm a good cook, but if you don't have cumin, don't worry, you don't need cumin. Go to stopthesalt.com. Buy the cookbook. You can buy it at barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com, but if you buy it from them, they make more money, and I don't. So if you buy it from me, I make more money, and I'll autograph it. If you don't want to autograph it, just say we don't want your autograph, and that's fine. And as I said, go to my website also. It's coopertalk.net. I have actually, when I post Bodie's episode, he'll be number 499. He'll be 499, and you can email me there also at coopertalk.net. I always respond. Twitter, I always said Twitter's already Cooper Talk. Words with Friends. If anyone wants to play Words with Friends, I'm really getting into that. I'm at Cooper Talk 1. I play that all the time, and it makes me feel smart, and it's good. And sometimes, I've beaten one guy like 37 times. I feel bad. I went to high school with him. I don't want to play him anymore, but you can't stop because I'm like 37-4, so I feel great. So anyway, go follow Bodie. Go watch his podcast. I'm Steve Cooper. I'm only as hip as my guest. Don't forget, drink your water, eat your vegetables, take your vitamins, and I will talk to you guys.